We welcome you all to Corridors of Technology.
For the first time, we are publicly announcing our integration with Aadhaar.
So good afternoon everyone, this is Sunny and I'm from Foetron. We welcome you all to Corridors of Technology, which is about security, productivity and scale, ensuring your businesses attain the security, productivity and scale that they need. So today in this first session of this Corridors of Technology, we'll have Guru. He has spent about 10 years at Adobe evangelizing the creative and document cloud. He also provides consultation and training to medium and large scale enterprises across India. So he has worked across industries such as Pharma, BFSI, construction, ITES, education, public sector, and manufacturing. He has also worked in media and entertainment domain. In this session today, we'll be talking about the problems that you face and the interactions that we have had with our team members around the digital signatures and electronic signatures that you could use. This will bring efficiency to the kind of processes that you have in your organization. This is first session and we'll have 3 more sessions around this electronic signatures to help you further. So in this session, Guru will take some time. He'll take you through the product and details, and we'll walk you through the agenda for this. So first, he'll cover the part of demystifying digital signatures and electronic signatures. Are they legal in India? Integrations of Adobe e-signature with Microsoft Office 365, Sharepoint, and if you're using Google, then Google Drive. We will discover the benefits with electronic signatures on how they enable to drive us productivity, seamless compliance, and reduced cost. He'll also provide us a product demo wherein we'll experience these integrated technologies. And at the end of it, we'll talk you through the offers to get you started with this product line. So I'll welcome Guru, and I would request him to give a brief about the product and the details that he has to present.
Sure, thanks, Sunny. Good afternoon, everybody. So thanks for setting up the context for the session today, Sunny. This is actually a very exciting moment for us at Adobe. We are, and in fact, all of you should also feel a little special because for the first time, we are publicly announcing our integration with Aadhaar. So the whole legal aspect of our discussion will actually be quite short because we've got Aadhaar-based signatures now possible. To begin with, why do you need to digitize your paperwork? So because many organizations are drowning in paper, and this is a common occurrence in most organizations here in India. Of course, now with the pandemic and with lockdown in place, of course it's lifting up, but it's still it's not possible to be physically exchanging papers for various transactions anymore. So we are seeing a huge uptake, in many organizations now wanting to digitize the entire, all of their transactions using a secure consent provide and accountable solution. So if you think about it, if the amount of time that you would waste by just routing documents from one person to another, waiting for signatures and approvals, tracking it in some form or shape, and then archiving it, you could free up a lot of time for your workers who are dealing with these mundane tasks that they really that shouldn't be something that they should be tasked with, right? And they should be focusing more on what their role and what their job requires them to do, rather than wasting time on dealing with paper and things like that. And of course, there are other compliance issues that come up. Sometimes signatures are missing, initials, dates are missing, or it's signed by the wrong person. So those can also create a lot of issues. And many business leaders agrees that there are, although many companies have tried to automate a lot of their processes today, but the automation is existing in silos and it doesn't work across the organization, across teams. And so we need something that could some platform that could unify it all together. But before we get into that platform discussion, I want to talk a little bit about electronic signatures and its validity in India. Right? This is a topic that often comes up. And as I mentioned earlier, we've already integrated with Aadhaar. So this question does not come up. But however, just to elaborate a little more on how we comply with the Indian IT Act. So as per the IT Act, there are two ways of digitally providing consent. You could either use an electronic signature, but then you got to have a two-factor authentication with an Aadhaar number and an electronic KYC method as well, with a passcode. The second option is digital signatures. Digital signatures have been around for like ages, right? There are many certifying authorities here in India that sell digital signatures, and you could buy. But the problem with digital signatures is today the world has gone mobile, and everybody's doing a whole lot more on mobile today, and they expect to do a whole lot more in the future as well. And so with digital signatures, unfortunately, it's not very mobile friendly. You can't download a token onto your device and attach it onto your signature. So you're restricted to your laptop, desktop, or any sort of a machine with a USB dongle in order to satisfy that. However, as per the IT Act, it should if it's an electronic signature, it should be unique to the signatory. So there should be a way to hold the signatory accountable. And so we have a certificate-based digital ID from UIDAI that has been attached there to satisfy that. Then the signatory must have control over the data used to generate e-sign. So that is basically, it's within their confines. So they can we support any device with a mobile browser or a desktop browser is all that you need to participate in this transaction. And we assume that only you have access to that device. And any alteration to the affix e-sign must be detectable. Very important. So, for example, so we use an encryption key to encrypt our documents, and we make it very visible in the final signed document. There'll be a blue ribbon. You might have seen the blue ribbon in other documents as well. There's a blue ribbon that comes on top in any PDF file. When you see that blue ribbon, that is our guarantee that this document has not been tampered with or edited in any shape or form. So that is how we ensure that we conform to the IT Act in ensuring you can't tamper with the encryption or modify the document in any shape or form. Then there should be accountability in the process of an audit trail, and we also have an audit trail that basically tracks throughout the process of the workflow. When did they view it? Which IP address of the device was used to view it? Which IP address of the device was used to sign the document for each of the stakeholders throughout this entire process. And of course, the last point being the signing certificates must be issued by a recognized certifying authority here in India. So in our case, we use eMudra as our certifying authority for issuing these kind of certificates. For Aadhaar, we have an integration with NSDL. So we route all of the requests that come in, go through NSDL and then UIDAI. So I'll have a little bit more on that in the next slide. But there are some places where you can't use it also. So I want to be very clear about that. We are very transparent as an organization. We believe in putting everything up front and making it very clear. So there are some places where the IT Act definitely says you cannot use it. So if you want, for example, any sort of negotiable instruments, powers of attorney, trust deeds, wills, real estate contracts, property transfers, things like that cannot be, because wherever you have a stamp paper involved, you cannot use a digital signature. You have to use the traditional wet signature. So we're very clear about where you can use it. But for everything else, right, maybe there are some processes that might not require a signature. Maybe all you need is just a recipient to say that they have received it, and you want that to be accountable. So then that could be, so all those could also be use cases. And I have a little more on use cases, and I'll show you that as we move along. Now, how does this integration actually work? So if you look at these various steps here, these are screen grabs that we've taken. So when you're sending the document, it's like sending out an email to someone. Just put in their email ID, send them an email, put any form fields that you see here. So there are many different form fields. So you can have different types of form fields, and also add a signature field there. In case, for example, many of our customers in HR will add a field for an attachment to capture mark sheets and things like that. So you can have all kinds of fields that you want. Once you put the fields in and you've added your digital signature, you can then send out the document, and you can see the document is then sent out to the person to sign. And then when the person signs it, they will be able to fill in the form, add in all their details, and then finally add a signature. Once the signature is complete, they will be then asked to agree to certain terms and conditions. This is basis the NSDL and UIDAI terms of conditions. So they agree to that, and they enter their Aadhaar ID number. And then as soon as the ID number is entered, they would then receive an OTP on their Aadhaar registered mobile number. And once they enter that OTP number in there, that's it. They are then verified as a valid person, as to provide consent. And then once they're done, then I can come back. So remember I was telling you about that blue ribbon? This is that blue ribbon. So this is the blue ribbon that is our guarantee that this document has not been tampered with or modified with. And if you look really closely, squinting your eyes, you'll see that it says eMudra sub CA. So that is the certifying authority. So as per the Indian IT Act, we're ensuring an Indian recognized certifying authority is providing a certificate to encrypt this document. And you'll see more encryption certificate details within the PDF file if you choose to get there. So how does this work in the background? So as soon as an agreement is sent out, this is a little technical. So I'm just going to go through it quickly right here. I don't want to bore you with too much details, but basically we are the ASP and NSDL is the ESP in this case. So what happens is as soon as the end user receives an agreement and they send it out for signature, they create an API call, which basically invokes the NSDL API, which in turn will then send out the once the Aadhaar ID is entered, they would then send out the OTP to the registered Aadhaar number. That happens right there at the authentication service. Once the OTP has been secured and registered, then it will send back a confirmation, and it'll then attach the digital signature back to the onto the document, and that's then finally it's archived in either our storage, or you can choose to archive it in your storage as well. That is, choice is up to you. But during the transaction, it has to remain on our data center. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but this entire solution is a hosted solution. So you don't really need any infrastructural requirement on your end. At the most, if you need any sort of custom integration done, then that is the only implementation that would be required. But we have integration with most solution providers out there. And I have a slide on that talks in a little bit more detail there. So some of the benefits here, it's that this entire product is built in India. We have an entire team that's based out of our Noida office, and the entire development, testing, product management, all of that happens out of our Noida office. The data residency is managed because we are hosted in the AWS shard in Mumbai. So all of your documents, if you choose to keep them on our data center, they will remain within the country, and we don't sync them or have them sent out anywhere. And then it's also our CEO, Mr. Shantanu Narayan, is very much an Indian as well. And so it's built in India, built for India, and blessed by an Indian. Moving on, so why companies prefer Sign? Well, we've been around for really long. Adobe was founded in '82. Acrobat came out sometime in '84. So we've been around for a long time. And you saw the solution is very easy to use. I'm going to show you a demo a little later on how you could use it within Microsoft Teams. We've been told that a lot of people are using Teams now since they're working from home. So I want to show you how well integrated we are with the Microsoft interface, with solutions, and how well we are partnered with them. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. next. So in integrations in terms of certifying authority and ESP. So we've handled all of that, and then we've got APIs. If you have your own custom HRMS or ERP system, then you can integrate it using our APIs as well. There are complete end-to-end digital workflows that you can design, automating it completely without requiring any manual intervention. And it's very simple to design these workflows within the solution. You don't need to code or anything of that sort. It's very straightforward. And of course, we adhere to all compliance standards. So we've got PCI, HIPAA. We recently added GDPR and biopharma certification as well. So I have a slide on compliance where I'll go into a little more detail to give you more idea on that in case you need. And then, of course, this is an enterprise-ready solution, and we are hosted across the globe. We support enterprisey things like single sign-on, Okta, things like that. And also in case you have multiple teams, then managing for the IT team to then manage all these users. So we've got a dashboard and everything that's created there to make it a purely an enterprise, enterprise-ready solution. So some of the benefits of Aadhaar is that it saves time, cost, legally recognized. It's flexibility and integrates with many applications. It's licensed by CEAs and recognized by CCAs. It's very easy to use, and I'll prove that in a few seconds. And it's got a complete audit trail, and it shows valid certificates and all of this stuff. I've already discussed some of these points, but these are the main benefits of having that in place. So so this is basically how our send experience looks like. So you can do that using the desktop browser as what you see out there, or you can also use our mobile app, which is available on Android and iOS. So if I wanted to send out documents quickly to sign, and if I have a library of documents, or if I'm using OneDrive, I can directly use my mobile app or sign on mobile to quickly send out a document for signature using the mobile itself. And this is the workflow designer. This is what I meant. It's really simple to design, really convoluted workflows, parallel workflows. You have multiple people that need to sign, or any one of them can sign. So you can set up different types of workflows. You can design it of how you want your document to route between different stakeholders, and on what kind of verification do you want to put in place. So this is you can also build certain widgets or web apps. If you want to integrate certain forms in your website or mobile app, you can do that as well. And then our team at Adobe uses Salesforce, and we've got a ready-made integration with Salesforce and even Microsoft Dynamics as well. So what that means is if you want to send out a contract to your clients, you can directly send it out from within Salesforce or within Dynamics itself. No need to log into our dashboard or anything of that sort to get it done. You can directly send it out from Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics as well. And we also have premium support and implementation and tutorials and guides and everything to help you through this entire process. So that is how we comply with the Indian IT Act. So we make sure that our sign is unique to the signatory. We make sure that they have complete control over the generated data. We make sure that any alteration or any sort of tampering to the document will be detected. You will not see that blue ribbon. If that blue ribbon is missing, that means someone has tampered with that document, and that is basically evidence that would be used. And then audit trail for a signing process, the complete audit trail. I'll show you what this trail looks like in a bit. And then signer certificates issued by a certifying authority recognized by CCA. And that is basically, in our case, that is eMudra. So most of the other e-sign providers typically, they fail to fulfill the first and the fifth requirement in most cases that are out there. So this is our standard slides. So this is where I was telling you about how we adhere to GDPR. We use type 2, SOC 2 encryption, HIPAA, FedRAMP, PCI. This is bank grade security here, right? And also, if you look at our, and everything is encrypted right from as soon as you upload your document, it is encrypted throughout that journey, throughout that process until it is archived towards the end. And we monitor somewhere around 7 billion, signatures worldwide. And yeah, That is how we conform to various standards. So this is our partner ecosystem. I already mentioned some of the logos here. So I mentioned Microsoft Dynamics, for example. I already showed you, we've got an integration with Office 365, SharePoint. We also integrated with various HRMS, e-vaulting, and different workflow providers as well. Yeah, that's our ecosystem. And then we are adding more and more to this list every year. So some of the use cases where you could use this for, I told you where you can't use this for. Now let's talk about where you can use this for. So here are some use cases where you can use just electronic signatures, which is basically without the Aadhaar, and then where you can use Aadhaar-based signatures. So if it's just electronic signatures, if you're thinking of digitizing your entire employee onboarding experience, you don't need Aadhaar integration for that. We've got several large companies in India using this for employee onboarding and offer letters, and they all use the default email-based authentication. It's only when you are in a regulated environment or a regulated domain, like let's say if you're in biopharma, or if you're in BFSI, then you are regulated, and then for those reasons we've got Aadhaar in place, so you can make sure that you conform to all the regulatory requirements. Otherwise, even the default electronic signatures is good enough. Without the Aadhaar is good enough to comply with these kind of use cases. And we have customers who are using it in this capacity in India today. So what is Document Cloud? Okay, now, so Adobe Sign, which is what I was discussing earlier, is a subset of a larger platform called Adobe Document Cloud. So Document Cloud is an intelligent platform that delivers exceptional experiences while driving business efficiency across any surface at any scale. So what this means is, if you remember Acrobat Professional, so Acrobat is a part of Document Cloud. Right now, like I said, one of the major things that people want today is they want to work just like they consume Netflix or Hotstar. If you're a Hotstar or a Netflix or even a YouTube user, then you might have noticed what a seamless kind of experience these platforms provide. Regardless of whether you're using your laptop today or desktop or tablet or phone or whatever, you have a seamless experience throughout these devices. A lot of us now have become accustomed to that, and we expect to work also in a similar way. Why is my work confined to just this laptop? I want the freedom, just like I watch Netflix, I want the freedom to work on my mobile phone if I'm stuck waiting in line somewhere. They want the freedom to do more because they're getting devices that allow them to do more, right? So we're seeing this a huge deal on our creative side. As many of you know, Adobe is well known for Photoshop and many of our creative applications. So we first saw this behavior with our creative users who first said, hey, I want Photoshop on my phone. I want Photoshop on my tablet. And we did that. We did get companion apps, and we are now working on a full-blown version of Photoshop for the iPad. But we had a similar request from our Acrobat users also. They're saying, why are you confining us to just a laptop or desktop? Why don't you give me the freedom to work on any device? And you can only achieve that kind of freedom when you have a single source of truth for all your documents, right? A single repository that connects all these devices. That's a conduit for all these devices. And that repository is Document Cloud. Okay, so Document Cloud is basically a platform that provides storage, that provides tools for various devices, mobile, tablet, regardless of where you are. So regardless of which device, which screen you're looking at, you will be able to use some of those favorite Acrobat features that you've been using. You'll be able to use it on those devices as well. And that is basically what our goal is. And so what does it entail? The Document Cloud, what does it mean? Is it just another Dropbox, or is it just another Google Drive storage? Not at all. Storage is a small part of what it actually offers. Besides that, we have desktop and mobile applications. So we have Acrobat DC is a part of this desktop ecosystem. Then we have Reader on mobile and tablet. And Reader, if you log in, if you are a paid customer, then you'll get additional features on Reader, which allows you to edit your documents and things like that as well. Then we have electronic signatures, is what we just discussed right now, which is Adobe Sign, and I just showed you, and I'll show you a demo as well. Then we have PDF services. Now, many people have been asking us about, Microsoft Office, for example. A lot of people ask me, hey, Office allows me to create a PDF file. Why do I need to get Acrobat if I can create a PDF using Office 365? Well, you can create a PDF using using Office 365, Microsoft Word, or PowerPoint. They allow you to create PDFs. What they don't allow you to create PDFs, and you realize this when you've ever tried to mail a PDF that was created in any of the Office Microsoft solutions. If you try to mail the PDF, you would know that it doesn't do a very good job at optimizing it or reducing the size. Whereas with Acrobat, you can do that. You can control the degradation of your images, how much compression you want to use to that extent to make sure that your documents are mail friendly, right? And that is just optimizing the file size is one service that a lot of people miss out on because they're just using the Microsoft ecosystem. But there are other things as well. Like, you could do a review, you could do a team review, you could do a review with external people, you could do an email-based review, you could do comparisons between various PDF files, you could do redactions and things like that. So there are many other features in Acrobat that a lot of people are maybe not aware of, but which are included. Now, what we're doing with those features is that we are now exposing them via APIs. And so we're providing them as services. So now you can embed some of our features, or you can run things on the server, which were not possible in the past. I've got 1,000 PDF files or Word files, and I need to convert them to PDF. Or I have 20,000 PDF files in archive. I want to encrypt all of them with a password. So these are bulk processes for which running a single Acrobat and doing it can be pretty tedious, and you can't automate it as well. So now we've got APIs, SDKs, and services that you can use to create automated workflows, automatically scan a file, do an OCR, take the relevant data, put it in this database, things like that. And then there's also pre-built integrations. Like I said, we are well integrated into Microsoft. So if you're a Microsoft house, then we are integrated within many of their products. And I'll show you the integration with Teams in a while. Even if you're using Google Drive, I know a lot of companies now have started to also use many of the Google Suite apps. And so just in case you are, then we have an integration with Google as well. With Google Drive specifically. So if you have your documents in Google Drive, you want to send them out for signature, you can directly, we have a plugin that allows you to do that from within Google Drive as well. So these are, I just want to quickly take you through. So whether you're dealing with, a sales team internally that's struggling with paper, and you want to look at digitizing that, and you have an integration with Dynamics, and then this would be the workflow. So right from engaging to execution, analyzing, orchestration, everything can be managed within the document cloud ecosystem itself. Similarly, for enrollment, digital enrollment, you can have forms that are there. You can send out forms, collect the data, update your database, and then send out another agreement if you wanted to automate it. Agreement to get signed based with pre-populated fields from the data that was entered earlier. Or if you're sending out an NDA, let's say your business team or the sales teams have got send out NDAs to customers, then they can do the same way, send out, orchestrate, create the NDA, get approvals from within the team and review it internally. Once it's reviewed and finalized, send it out for signature. So all of that can be accomplished using the document cloud ecosystem. Same thing goes for HR teams who are struggling a lot. An interesting note here is Our highest usage today for our solution here in India specifically is for HR. We've got industries in across ITES, e-commerce, manufacturing, all using this for digitally onboarding a lot of their employees. So some of the key outcomes that you get out of that, it's a completely frictionless digital document experience. So no need to download any plugin, no need to download, sign in somewhere or log into anything, nothing of that sort. It's a very, very straightforward, and I'll show you that in the demo as we move on. You can get documents created, reviewed, signed, and revised as faster than before. You can work from your systems that you're already using. If you're already using Microsoft Dynamics, if you're already using SFDC, if you're already using Google Drive, SharePoint, there's no need to learn anything new, or Workday or SuccessFactors. There's no need to learn anything new because our solution sits within these applications, right? So that's another benefit. It's completely secure and compliant, and I already spent the previous few minutes talking about that. And then, of course, Adobe is a global company. We've got large number of offices here in India, but we're also all over the globe. And I have a slide on our spread as well. So this is just to give you an idea on, after doing a survey with some of our customers, we realized that the signatures are 21 times faster, more than 50 hours saved, 36% in increase in revenue because they were sending out contracts quickly. Compliance and reduction risks were reduced, and of course the total cost, no courier cost, no paper cost, no your getting more employees to produce more rather than run behind people to get their signatures in place, right? So you're getting that also can be factored in. So these are some of the use cases across different lines of businesses in any organization. So if you have sales, HR, procurement, legal teams, then these are the different use cases that you could look at digitizing using the solution. So contracts, orders, NDAs, employee policies, RFPs, things like that, IP licensing, audit sign-offs. And across the board, you could use this for all types of NDAs, all types of, and it doesn't even need to be a signature. Maybe you just need someone to say approve or click on approve. So even that is captured as a consent, and it can be accountable tomorrow. If tomorrow someone says, I did not approve it, you can download the audit report and say, no, you did. Here, it says in the audit report right here. So that's what. So it doesn't have to always have to be a signature. Can just be an approval or a recipient as well. Sometimes you want to make sure that your customer has received a copy of your agreement, and you want that to be documented so that tomorrow the customer shouldn't say, oh, I didn't see what you sent me, I have no idea, right? So you need some way to hold people accountable, and this is the solution that does that. Let's look at a quick demo and see what this looks like. I'm going to take you through this. So I'm going to be playing the role of two different people here, wearing two hats. First is a marketing manager at this company called Contoso. That's a fictional company. And I'm the marketing manager. And I use, let's say, from Adobe's standpoint, I use PDF services and Sign. And from Microsoft, let's say I use PowerPoint, Teams, Word, SharePoint, and Outlook. This is the case with, forget marketing managers, this is the case with any persona in any company would use all of these applications, at least on the Microsoft side. Now, on the other side, we have then the contract manager from Tailspin, which is another company altogether. Let's say we need to get a contract or an NDA signed between these two companies, these two people. And so they use Outlook and Word, right? So let's see now how we can completely digitize this entire contract signing process through Microsoft Teams and Adobe Sign and PDF services. So let's have a look at that. So I'm going to first start off with Teams and SharePoint here. So I'm within Teams right now, as you can see. And within Teams, I can go into Legal and Compliance, go to the Files tab. Now, this is obviously all these files are stored in SharePoint. So I can open them in SharePoint. Once I open them in SharePoint, I can see, oh, there you go. That's the PDF file. Select the PDF file, open that PDF file. And now this is opened up in a browser, okay? I can go to the thumbnails. So you see one of the new features that we added is the ability for our partners, so even you for that matter, you can embed our PDF viewer within the browser. So that's what you're seeing right here. So if you remember in the past, if you ever saw PDF, let's say you went to a company's annual report. Typically what happens is you've got to download the report because it comes in as a PDF and then open up in Reader and read it. But now what we're doing is we're allowing you to open the PDF file within the browser itself using this new SDK for it. But anyways, that's not what I want to highlight here. What I want to highlight is now I'm within SharePoint right here, and I'm able to see the bookmarks. I'm able to see the different chapters that are there. I'm also able to, for example, jump to a particular point in the bookmark, and I can add some review comments here if I want to. Again, this is an Acrobat feature that I'm accessing within within SharePoint, right? So I can add some comment here, post that comment, highlight certain text if I wanted to, and ask for corrections, or even draw certain annotations to mark something, right? And once you've done the review and you've saved it, you can then search for things in the document if you wanted to search. So again, this is not a PDF that has been downloaded and opened up in Reader. I'm getting all of these Reader's features or Acrobat's features within SharePoint. That is because I have a Acrobat DC license, and I've logged into that license here, which is why SharePoint is giving me all of these features. So then I can come in here and say, okay, I'm not trying to find anything here. But what's interesting is check this out. If I click on those 3 dots at the edge, I get an option to then download the file. Or here's the interesting part. If I click on edit, now check that out. Organize pages, combine files, export PDF, create PDFs. These are features that are available in Acrobat only, professional only, right? Or some of you might know it as Acrobat Writer if you're from the yesteryears, so to speak. But what's interesting here is I'm getting many of the Acrobat features within SharePoint. Now, this is the extent of our integration with Microsoft. This is how closely and well integrated we are, right? That we've got to this extent. So I don't even have to download the document if I want to edit it, if I want to convert it to another format, if I want to combine it with some other files. I don't need to download. I can do it right there within SharePoint itself. So what's this? So I come in here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with my team member so that they can add comments to it. I've already added some comments, some changes that I want for the document. So I send it out to him, and then he gets it, makes those changes. Once the changes have been made, then what I can do is I can take all of these documents, I can combine them. Again, you see combine pages by Adobe. Now this is a feature that's again a part of Acrobat Professional that is available within the SharePoint interface, right? So I click on combine, and then it allows me, so instead of emailing an Excel sheet, a JPEG file, a PDF file, I can just email one single docket that includes all of these different file types. So here you see I've got an Excel sheet, and I can reorder them, and then I can combine them into one single PDF. Again, I'm doing all this without downloading this file on my local machine, right? I click on save, and that's it. So now what has happened is it's combined. You see, if I scroll, it's got all those different Excel sheets, PowerPoint presentation, everything is combined into one single PDF, right? So it's much easier to email and track this rather than sending separate files out. So then I can refresh this, and I can see that it's created a single docket. We call that a portfolio. Now that I've got a portfolio, I need to get it signed. So let's see how we can get it signed. So now I'm going to come to contacts here. Who do I need to get it signed from? So I'm going to find the person's email. So I need to send it to Brian here. I'll click on Brian. And then you see we have the Adobe Sign tab sitting nicely within the SharePoint interface right there. So I invoke that menu, and then I have an option to send for signature. I click on that, and sure enough, it's saying, okay, which document do you want me to send? So I'll pick the document that's already in SharePoint. There you go. Select it, say attach. And now I'm going to enter that email ID of the person that I need to sign, some little details on the agreement, some messages, etc. Now this agreement does not have any sign field on it. So where are they going to sign on it? So then I need to add those fields. So that's going to happen in the next step here. We'll click on next. And I can see there are different fields on the right. You can see there are different form fields there. So I'm going to click the signature block and drag that in. In case you want an Aadhaar based signature, you notice we have a digital signature there. That's the one you would click and drag to get your Aadhaar based signature. But now that I've got this done, I'm going to use the simple electronic signature here. Now that I put the signature field and I also put the phone number field where I want them to enter their phone number, I need to update my database or something, let's say. And then I'm going to send that out. And that's it. It's sent. And then what I can do is I can come into Outlook. Like I mentioned, we are integrated within Outlook as well. And if I want to check, hey, I sent out an agreement, is that signed or yet to be signed? So I can check on the status of my agreement. I don't have to go to SharePoint. We are well integrated with Microsoft. So even in Outlook, I can just see, and I can say, okay, sure enough, I can see that the document has been sent out to this Brian guy to get signed, and it's still waiting for him to sign. So that is how I can keep tabs on my transactions as they're sent out. So now let's see what the signing experience. We saw what the sending experience was like. Let's see what the signing experience is like. So for the signer, let's say they're checking this on a mobile phone. So they would receive an email, and it would look something like this. They click on that email, then you notice there is no attachment to the file. Remember, it's important as per the Indian IT Act that you don't want people to tamper the file. Or even if they do, you want there to be some evidence. So in this case, there is no scope for tampering because we don't send the document itself. What we do send is a link to the document. And that's a link that you see right there. And if I click on that link, sure enough, that document opens up in any browser. We support all kinds of mobile browsers. So all you need is a browser. That's it. Now you can see the document. You'll see a message. Enter your phone number. And then when it comes to sign, I can click, and there are different ways to sign. I can either type, draw, or upload an image. I'm just going to rotate here and use my finger to sign. Enter the name. Click apply. And that's it. And once you're done, you say click to sign, and you are done. No need to download any plugin. No need to log into any site and register yourself. None of that nonsense, right? You don't have anything to do with Adobe. You don't even need Adobe Reader to be installed on your device. Although it'd be nice if you did have it. I should say we do have a scan app as well. I didn't have time to showcase it. But if many of you, thanks to the Indian government's ban of Cam Scanner, if you're looking for a good scanning application, do try out Adobe Scan. It's available for free on Android and iOS. And it's very similar to Cam Scanner, but it's better because we also do an OCR using our machine learning and AI platform called Adobe Sensei. So do give it a shot in case, and we promise not to share your documents with the Chinese, promise you that. So coming back to the signature experience. So now you see I've signed it on my mobile phone and I'm done with it. Now let's get back into confirmation. So I can see if I check in Outlook now, and if I come back to that agreement, I can see, okay, it's been signed. I can then go back to that particular user and say, okay, show me the agreement status. And I can see that that is signed. It says status signed up there. And then when I open up that agreement, now if I go back to my folder where I had that agreement, let me show you that, where I had initially started. So one beautiful thing about the SharePoint workflow, and why I like to show this is when you originate in SharePoint, you will always end in SharePoint. So your document will automatically come back into SharePoint, right? Whereas if you're using a browser to send out documents, the documents remain on our data center. But in this case, it'll come back into SharePoint, which is pretty cool. And then I can see the document right there, and the document is there. And sure enough, you can see that blue ribbon up there. That blue ribbon is again our guarantee. In this case, the screenshot, you can see the blue ribbon was issued by VeriSign. VeriSign is our worldwide authority. If you have offices globally in the US, in Europe, Germany, and if you want a solution that adhere to all of the laws of each of these countries, then we allow you to do that. For VeriSign is our certifying authority globally. We have different certifying authorities in Europe, in Germany. We have different certifying authorities here in India as well. So basis what the country's laws are, we have accommodated a solution to fit that. And sure enough, how do you prove this in a court of law? Tomorrow someone says, I did not sign the document. What do? cell, you go and open up the audit report. This is the audit report that we maintain. And this is generated by default for every transaction that goes out. And in the audit report, you will see, if you can just squint your eyes a little, oh yeah, actually you will have to squint your eyes there. I can't zoom in here, but there is, it captures the IP address of the device that was used to type. It captures the email ID. And in case of Aadhaar based signatures, it will show you the masked last 4 digits, 5 digits of your Aadhaar ID or number if you're using that for authentication. So that is how, this is how you prove the intent and identity of the signer. And with the that blue ribbon on top, you prove the integrity of the document, saying that it's not been compromised in any shape or form, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about our Microsoft partnership here. So I've already been harping a lot about this throughout, so I'll just go through this quickly. But as you can see, we have our products integrated across the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So I'm pretty sure many of you are using at least one of these products, if not all of them already, right? But then, like I mentioned, we've got other integration with other systems as well. And I already showed you this. This is a slightly newer slide on that. It includes a little more additional logos there. And finally, our slide on compliance as well. And this one includes the Safe Biopharma certification, which we got last year. And like I mentioned, we have data centers. We are on AWS and Azure in the US. And then in the rest of the world, we are all on AWS data centers. We hope to migrate to Azure, Microsoft Azure, sometime in the future. It's slowly starting in the US. I think we'll start in the rest of the world as well over time. And that is pretty much what I wanted to share. That is the end of my demo. So I'm going to now pass it back to Sunny to see if there are any questions or anything that needs my attention at this moment. Sunny, back to you.
Thank you, Guru. This is really helpful. And there are a couple of queries that are there in the chat window. I think if you can look into those queries and address it. In the meanwhile, I'll just take it forward with the other content that is there. And we'll come back to all the queries that if you can possibly pick up a few and address it for people in general. Yeah, please.
Go through the queries. I'm looking at, we have a free trial, we can share the link, can you mute? Okay, do you have APIs for signing documents for SAP ERP? Yes, we do, Kishore, yes, we do. We, in fact, had a bank in Gujarat that was using it with SAP ERP, and they were using, so they had a system where the sales rep would go to the customer with a tablet that had a form, a customer information form. The customer would fill up the information, name, address, blah, 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 and submit that form. That form would be sent to SAP, right? Their details would be stored. Yes, API, we have an integration, Kishore, for SAP ERP, and with Ariba, we have a default integration. So you don't need to use our APIs or anything. We have a plugin that sits within SAP Ariba, and you can directly, just like I sent out contracts through Microsoft Teams right now, you could do the same thing in SAP Ariba. I hope that answers your question, Kishore. When you combine docs, how do you ensure the sequence? So sequence order, Amresh, is basis C. So you would have seen it actually shows 1, 2, 3, 4. So its bases are numbering, but it's basically the order from left to right. That's the sequence. So you can just reorder it any which way you want it.
As we take this forward, right, we have certain offers for you. And the best part is you can get started with your Adobe eSign product, and there's a trial available. You can just leave your contact details in the chat window, or we have shared a URL with you. You can just register there, and we'll enable you on a 30-day trial, which you can experience. The other part is because electronic signatures will become a very important part of your productivity and security scenario. This is not just about productivity, but a lot of security that you can add to your contracts, non-disclosure agreements, especially when you're dealing with authorities and your customers or vendors across the country and across the world. With the pandemic and the work from home environment or remote work going into picture, this can become a really, really important part of your strategy. Also, because a lot of document signing or workflow is needed through your ERP or HR systems, you can get this in play. We have a lot of organizations who are leveraging this electronic signatures for offer letters, getting approvals on the purchase order and getting a workflow set in, getting a lot of NDAs and contracts signed in across vendors and customers. So this is your time, and we'll not just help you with a trial or to get the product. We'll get you onboarded on this particular product line, which can really help you in scaling the productivity and the security scenario related to documents in your organization. You can reach out to us. These are our contact details, and you can reach out on this contact number or the email ID, and we are there to help you. If there's any query that you have as of now, you can post that in the chat window. We'll spend about 5-10 minutes to address your queries there itself. So this was the end of Corridors of Technology, which is about security, productivity, and scale. And we have another series of session coming up next week, and we'll be happy to host you again. This particular session will also be available on Foetron Academy, where you can watch this recorded video and go through this entire set of demo again. As per your comfort and time, you can possibly share that within your organization with the people in the finance, HR, or operations department. They can learn a bit more. And when you feel you're ready to take it to the next level, we can do a one-on-one discussion with your organization, possibly build around use cases to help you as an organization adopt this particular piece of technology. So if there's anything that you need to ask now, we are here for you. You can post on the chat window and possibly you can unmute yourself and ask your query.
Just 1 second, Sunny. I see a query from Ms. Chawla here. She wants to know about the legality of contracts signed without Aadhaar. Ms. Chawla, I mean, we do have customers who are using it in legal capacity for signing contracts such as NDAs and things like that. We can please reach out to us offline. We can understand more what kind of contracts are these, and then we can recommend the right approach for you if that works. So please reach out to either Sunny or anyone from the Foetron team or even to me as well. No worries. Sure.
We have shared a query, shared a URL with everyone. If there's any query that you have after the session, you can reach out to us. We have our team of experts available to address your queries and possibly build use cases around the problems that you're facing in your organization related to documents.